What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to the Daily Draft. I am your host and the publisher of Pack Report, Ross Uglem. We are, as always, brought to you by Brewski Light Lager from Badger State, brewing the greatest can in all of Wisconsin today. We are breaking down, frankly, popular Packers pick, but mostly because of like he's really traitsy and probably fell to this level. But that's Shavon Revel from East Carolina. He is a cornerback. Pros. If you consider it a pro, it's length. He's listed at 6'3". He looks to me like he's all of 6'3". I think we'll get measurements at some point. He's got a torn ACL, which of course is in the cons, but he blew out his knee in September. So I don't know if we got like official Senior Bowl measurements. I don't know what kind of official measurements we're working with, if any, on Shavon Revel. But he has length and he has everything that you would want out of a press corner. But I'll talk a little bit about why that worries me later. The film and what you can really kind of pair with this elite length is straight line speed. Man, he runs, and I think there's enough acceleration there to recover if beaten. Obviously, the added length helps you recover as well. He flies. I mean, he can really run. I don't know if he'll test at all because of blowing out his knee in September. I mean, we're into February. March would be the 6-month mark. Really late pro days in April would be the 7-month mark. I don't think we're getting even a 40 out of Shavon Revel during this pre-draft season. So that becomes sort of a mystery. Not only what did he used to run, but what will he run post-injury? ACL injuries and the recovery from those is certainly advanced. It's not the death sentence that it used to be, but you're not going to run like a 40 that's going to determine how much money you're going to make 6 months after you have one of those tears. He tackles really well and is generally just a physical football player. Revel is a very physical football player, uses that size, and frankly is excellent in press coverage. If you're going to have Jeff Hafley move into more of a press type coverage, I don't think Nixon can probably not do it, but you'd have Valentine and you'd have Revel. That'd be a heck of a start. You can maybe move Nixon back inside. I don't know what you do, but your outside guys of Carrington Valentine and Shavon Revel would be really sweet if you were going to run a ton of press. Coverage grades above 84 per Pro Football Focus in each of his last 2 seasons with ECU. Of course, his 2024 season was super short. I mean, he didn't play in very many games with, a season-ending injury occurring in September. And his career passer rating allowed is below 60. That is super impressive. One other thing that's super impressive, folks, is the draft guide powered by Packer Report. Promo code DAILY going to get you $1 off. I'm in on that one. Jacob Morley's in on that one. Jacob Westendorf is in on that one. And I thought we did an excellent job last year. We're going to do a great job this year again. But really, kind of narrowing down the prospects that you need to look at, understanding Green Bay's thresholds. I go back and look at that thread of mine of just walking people right to the Jordan Morgan pick as far as like, hey, they don't really take tackles taller than this. They don't really take tackles heavier than this. They like, this 10-yard split and moving you down to like, yeah, I mean, they're not going to take Amarius Mims. They're not going to take this guy. They're not going to take that guy. They're probably not going to take Fautano because he's too short. And we've arrived at Jordan Morgan. I'm not saying I'm going to be able to do that exact same thing this year, but that's the kind of stuff you get in the guide. You get, the Packers thresholds, what they like to do. Probably going to have a couple features in there. Again, my Packers specific big board, I think it's worthwhile for every Packers fan of the draft. Cons. I worry about tall corners. I just do. And it's not just Kevin King, although that didn't help at all. I think there's about 3 good ones in the league. Tariq Woolen's pretty good. Sauce Gardner had a rough season last year, but I think he's a good player. And Patrick Surtain is 6'2". I want my corners to be 6'1" or shorter. I just do. It's a really hard position for tall guys to play. That league that East Carolina plays in is not particularly good, and he was not very good in his only big-time opportunity against Michigan in 2023. With that said, he really was good against SMU. SMU, of course, made a ton of noise at the end of last season and did an excellent job in their first season in the ACC. But this is, of course, 2 years ago. Revel, again, did not play great against Michigan. Again, that team won the national championship. I understand how good that version of the Wolverines was. But you play in that league that ECU plays in, and it's like, okay, well, what do you do? What did you do against your higher level of competition? He really was not particularly good against Michigan. Not productive as far as ball production is concerned. He has, I think, like 2 PBUs and a pick. He's not. He was not consistently making plays on the ball. He really is, for right now. I mean, he really is more like traits and physicality than he is a refined football player. But if you get Sauce Gardner after 2 years of development with a good secondary coach, then he's worth a pick in the 20s, right? Not versatile. He will not play in the slot, and he won't. I don't think he'll play safety either. I think he's an outside corner. And look, man, a good outside corner is worth his weight in gold. Let's not get it twisted. But there's no versatility here. Shavon Revel is going to play either left cornerback or right cornerback for your team. He's not going to help you out backing this guy up there, or maybe you have this configuration or that. No, he's an outside corner. I think there's worries and legitimate worries that he's a linear athlete and that his side to side doesn't really work that well. And that's what you get sometimes with tall corners. It's why I have my general concerns about tall corners and why I would be a little bit worried about Shavon Revel. And I think he's going to be limited in what he can do. Like you're going to want to play cover 4. You're going to want to play cover 3. You're not going to want to have him in 2-man or other situations where you're playing match and he's trying to pass guys off and he's got to move his hips and stuff like that. You want him, kind of defending the deepest part of the field. I worry about his side to side. I really do. Whether you're breaking down draft picks or breaking in a fresh pack of cheese curds, you need a cold one in hand. Grab a Brewski Light Lager, one of Wisconsin's fastest growing beer brands, crisp, refreshing, and built for game day. Or if you like your beer like your offense, bold and dynamic, pour yourself a Grassy Place Hazy IPA. That is the #1 IPA in northeastern Wisconsin. Packers fit, they might like him. If they're going to play a bunch of cover 3 and cover 4, they played quite a bit of a zone under Hafley in year 1. I think there's plenty of 4. I think there's plenty of 3 where he did some single high stuff with Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams. I don't know if he's looking to go to man coverage. That was sort of I don't call it a lie, but I mean that's what everybody was told when Jeff Hafley got to Green Bay. Like that was what was going to happen, and it frankly did not. They've taken tall corners. Obviously, they famously had the opportunity to grab TJ Watt and went for Kevin King, traded down, grabbed Kevin King, 6'3" corner, looking potentially for the next Richard Sherman. Of course, wasn't even close. And that scarred folks. I'm not necessarily going to say it completely has driven how I feel about tall cornerbacks, but they've been in on tall cornerbacks before. I mean, Eric Stokes is all of 6'1". And that hasn't gone particularly well, but I could see the fit there. I think he should be available when they pick. Small school kid coming off of an ACL tear. I don't think anybody's burning a top 20 pick on that, but what the hell do I know? And they've never strayed from smaller school guys in the past, right? Christian Watson went to NDSU. The quarterback went to Utah State. One of the wide receivers went to Nevada. You could go on and on and on, right? I mean, they've had TJ Lang from Eastern Michigan, Josh Sitton from Central Florida. Brett Favre was from Southern Miss, for gosh sake, and Donald Driver went to Alcorn State. They will find you if you can play football, and if they think Shavon Revel can play football, they darn well might take him. Overall, guys, he's got a solid round 2 grade. I think he could be a really good outside corner, or at least a decent outside corner in a zone-heavy scheme. He is my 48th overall player right now. Guys, drink Badger State beer. Buy the Green Bay Draft Guide. And have a wonderful rest of your week. Go Pack Go.